Department of Family Protective Services versus Palmer and Sapp. Let's go ahead and take announcements, Mr. Hip.
Your Honor, we're ready. The mother is, I believe, on Zoom from the jail.
That is correct.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Ms. Palmer, that is you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. We're still waiting on Mr. Gott. I believe Ms. Williams is checking on him. Mr. Kirkwood, let's check on your client calling for Devin Sapp Sr. Ms. Palmer, is it Devin or Devon?
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Devin.
Okay, thank you. Devin Sapp Sr. Devin Sapp Sr. Devin Sapp Sr. All right, no answer. No one's currently in the waiting room. And let's see, Ms. Tanner, are you here yet? All right, so Mr. Hip, we're waiting on Mr. Gott for Ms. Palmer and Ms. Tanner for the children. Give them a few more moments. All right, there is Mr. Gott. Ms. Williams, thank you. Per Ms. Williams, I believe Ms. Tanner is having some weather-related technical issues, connectivity issues. The Brown permanency.
It's up to Richard.
Did you say it's up?
It's up to Richard. I'm assisting today. If we were in person, it would have been an easier transition than over Zoom as to which case we were going to take, old school. So we didn't have a whole lot of preparation on all of it. So if Richard's around and wants to take it, that's fine. If not, I will. Okay, it's mine.
Congratulations. All right. Initial permanency calling for the mother, Desiree Brown. Desiree Brown, Desiree Brown. All right, no answer. What about Brady Brown? Brady Brown, Brady Brown, no answer. No one's presently in the waiting room. If you all are on Zoom, unmute your device, announce, well, everybody's on Zoom. Unmute your device. If you're on the phone, you'll need to press *6 to unmute. Desiree Brown, Brady Brown. All right, let me get everyone who may testify. If you'll raise your right hands to be sworn, please. Our caseworker, case manager, CASA. All right, do you all swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Adams, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call the caseworker. I need some help here.
All right, who is our caseworker on the Brown matter?
Yes, that's Audra Lynch.
I did see her earlier. Ms. Lynch? We're waiting. Ms. Williams, if Ms. Tanner is able to call in, that would be fine as well. Ms. Lynch?
Yes, sir, Judge. And I also tried to email her as well to see if that's an option. And also wanted to let you know that Jose wanted to speak with you, I guess, once we get down the docket.
Your Honor, could we pass this hearing for a second to find Ms. Lynch? Oh, there she is.
I'm here. I was trying to get my computer to cooperate.
Okay,
my internet is being sketchy this morning. I don't know if it's the weather or what.
Well, yeah, it certainly could be.
Ms. Lynch, how many children are in this case?
One.
And how is that child doing?
He's doing well.
Are all of his needs being met?
Yes, they are.
What type of placement is he in?
He's in a foster home.
How old is he?
He's, I believe, 4 months old.
Okay, so no psychotropic medication?
No.
Has he seen the doctor since our last hearing?
Yes. He has his regular checkups and immunization checkups.
Are there any concerns?
No.
Probably doesn't have any teeth to go to the dentist yet?
He's cutting a couple on there, trying to come on through on the bottom.
But probably no dentist?
Not yet. Not till 6 months.
All right. Are there any orders that specifically regarding the child, are there any orders that we need in regards to him?
No.
Right. For the mom, has she been given a service plan?
She has not.
Okay.
A
Why
service
hasn't
plan has been developed, and the service plan was emailed to the attorney. The mother's not, I have not seen the mom.
Okay, so the service plan was developed, correct?
Correct.
Was it made an order of the court at the status hearing?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so she has a service plan, she's just not working it.
Correct.
Okay. So have you been in any contact with mom?
I have only been in contact through text message.
All right. How often are you getting text messages from mom?
I think I've probably only gotten maybe 10 at the most since the case has started.
What are they generally about?
I letting her know that the case is here, like there is a case, letting her know about court, meetings, that there's a service plan for services.
Is she visiting her child?
No,
What about the father? Have you been in contact with the father?
no,
Does he have a service plan?
he does.
Has it been made an order of the court?
It has.
Has he done anything on it?
No,
Do you even have a telephone number for him?
no,
So are either parent in compliance with the service plan?
no.
Are you asking for the department to maintain temporary managed conservatorship in this case?
Yes,
Do you believe that's in the best interest of the child?
I do.
Have we found any? You said that the child was in a foster placement, correct?
That's correct.
Related to the child in any way?
No, he was moved to a new foster home where he actually has a sibling in that home.
Okay, so he's with family. He's with a family member.
That's correct. He's with a brother that also was involved in CPS.
Okay, is that brother been? How is that brother connected to the current foster home?
The brother's case, he was in this foster home from birth and has remained in there, and they're going to adopt him because termination occurred on that case, and so they wanted to take the brother in. So now they have both boys in that home.
Other than that, has there been any family members located?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe during the adversary hearing, possibly that there was, I don't know that it was family. I think it was some friends or something of the mom that home studies were going to be asked for on. But at one of the, I think it was the FGC or the PC meeting at the beginning, both of those potential people had.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
You can continue.
Both of those people had backed out.
Okay. But it's the best place probably with his sibling.
Yes, and I did notify through text the mother's phone to let her know that he was with the sibling, and she said that's great.
Do you know if mom relinquished in the last case?
I believe in one of the cases that's open, there was relinquishment on that one. The one where the he's in the home with him, because there's three cases currently open stages. So the one of the children was a relinquishment. The one that he's placed with was a termination. And then there's this one.
Has she mentioned or have you mentioned relinquishment to this mom?
She said that she didn't know what she wanted to do. She's not knowing what she wants to do.
All right. Pass the witness.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McGee.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Ms. Lynch, have you been visiting the parents' home on a monthly basis?
No, I'm not sure where exactly that they live.
Did you staff this case with investigations?
Yes.
Have you read the file?
Yes. The address
Are you aware that investigations knew where they lived?
they said it was a travel trailer or something on some property.
Have you been out there?
No, I was going by what the mom told me.
And what did the mom say?
That she didn't know where she was going to stay at right now.
Did she say she wasn't living at that travel trailer?
She didn't confirm nor deny that she lived there or not.
Okay, have you been there?
No, I have not been there.
Okay, if you had been out there, then you might have had an opportunity to give these parents their family plans of service, right?
Yes, if they were there.
Pass the witness.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kirkwood.
Has the parents, either the parents been combative with you or CPS?
Not combative.
Okay, have they been forthcoming with information?
Well, I haven't had any communication with him. Only with the mom through text message, and she doesn't supply any information on him.
Okay, does she supply any information about when she wants to meet her child or talk to her child, see her child?
No, she didn't even know why she had another case.
Okay, has she told you at all that she does not want to participate, or anybody in CPS?
She said she did not know what she wanted to do right now because she doesn't know what she's doing with herself.
Okay, has she told you that she was working?
She said no. I think she doesn't have her job no more.
Okay, has she provided anything for her child?
No.
Past witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lynch, assuming that it was by text that the mother told you what you said, when was that?
Oh, I have to look at my phone.
Or are you able to do that to refresh your memory real
Yes.
quickly?
Yes.
Okay, and maybe while you're doing that, you can answer whether or not the mother has given you any indication whether she and Mr. Brown are living together. Wherever that may be.
On April the 3rd, there was
Mhm.
text communication. We talked about the service plan and services. She wants to know what services. I explained it to her, that they were for this child. And she said, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, really, because I don't know what I'm doing myself.
Did she tell you whether she and Brady Brown live together?
No, she hasn't specified whether they live together or not. She just told me that if I needed to communicate with him, I could go through her.
Okay. All right, very good. Okay, any other questions from anyone for Ms. Lynch?
I have one more.
All right.
Do you trust going through the mother to get to Mr. Brown?
No,
Okay, so you don't agree that that's a best practice?
no, I don't.
Okay, and because there's no guarantee that he's actually getting messages, correct?
That's correct. And I told her I would rather, I need to speak with him.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Right, thank you. Ms. Adams, back to you. Any other questions or witnesses?
One more question. Ms. Lynch, do you think it would be beneficial to take screenshots of the service plan and text it to mom?
Yes, I could do that.
Great. No further questions, Your Honor. No further witnesses.
Very good. All right, thank you. Any other witnesses? Ms. McGee, Ms. Moore?
I don't have any witnesses, Judge, but I do have the issue that I wanted to bring up to the court about not being able, or about the issue with the record being recorded and the Court of Appeals and how we're going to handle that. And I don't know if you want to take that up during a break from the adversary hearing.
Okay, and what's your request?
Well, I believe we were going to all brainstorm it because the record from the adversary hearing is a recording and the Court of Appeals will not accept a recording and verbatim will not transcribe it because it's not their recording. However, my client has indicated to me that he would like a mandamus done. So without an actual transcript, I'm unable to do that mandamus.
Okay, do you recall whether verbatim was present, whether or not they were making a record? Were they present? Do you know?
I don't recall. It was in person, so I'm not sure who was on screen, but if I had to guess, I would say no, or I'm sure she would have been willing to transcribe it because then it would have been their recording.
Okay. Did the father timely file for de novo?
Well, no, we're not asking for de novo.
Well, but my question was, did he?
No.
And so no is the answer. All right. Okay. Well, I'll let you all visit on this issue, and if we need to call conference, we can do that. I'll probably reach out to verbatim in the meantime.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect much, if anything, to be done on this specific issue today, however.
Correct.
So, Mr. Kirkwood, did you want to call, is our CASA advocate present?
If CASA is present.
Hello,
Yes, hi. And so, Ms. Sample, were you sworn in?
I was. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kirkwood, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. How's the child doing?
He is doing great.
Okay, and have you visited the child lately?
I visited him Monday at placement.
And is he progressing as a infant should?
Yes, I believe so.
Does he appear to be bonded where he is?
Yes, he very much so.
Okay, he's with his sibling, is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And does it appear that all his needs are being met?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. Are there any concerns that you have that you would like to make the court aware of at this time?
No, sir, no concerns.
Okay, and do you believe that he should remain in the place that he's in right now?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you believe that it's in his best interest?
Yes, sir, I do.
Pass witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Adams.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McGee.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moore.
No questions.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ms. Sample, thank you. Any other witnesses, Mr. Kirkwood?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, other than the record issue, anything else from anyone else?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd request that if Ms. Moore has good contact information for her client, that she please provide it to the department so that we can be in contact with her client.
All right, Ms. Moore, so the court would direct you to take note of that.
Noted. Thank you.
The court would also, Ms. McGee, order your client to share any information concerning Brady Brown's whereabouts as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Sample, you've not had any communications with either parent, have you, in this case?
I had some text messages with mom early on in the case, but not since then.
All right. You don't have any contact information, old or recent, from for the dad, do you?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right. Okay, there are no parents present to admonish. The court continues TMC with the department, approves of the placement as in the child's best interest. Dismissal date is December the 9th, 2024. Our next hearing is for a permanency before final order, August the 26th. August the 26th. Final trial is presently set for December the 6th at 1:30 in the afternoon. The court finds that neither parent is present nor compliant, that there would be a continuing danger, and it would be contrary to the child's welfare and well-being to be placed back with the parent today. All right, so I will sign an order to that effect. Thank you all very much. For permanency review after final order. Let me get everyone. I believe I see Ms. Drafts present. Let me get everyone who may testify. If you will, our worker, our CASA advocate, raise your right hands to be sworn, please. All right, Ms. Adams, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. I call Nicole Adams. And how many children are in this case?
Just one.
And how is that child doing in their current placement?
He's doing really well in his current placement. He's happy, thriving, lots of energy.
What type of placement is it?
It's a therapeutic foster placement.
How old is he?
11 years old.
Is he on psychotropic medication?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that within state and federal guidelines?
Yes.
Has he seen the doctor since the last hearing?
Yes, he saw the doctor in March that did a med review and just refilled everything.
All right. What about the dentist? Is he current on his dentist?
He's current on the dentist. Last saw the dentist in January of this year.
What's his permanency goal?
Unrelated adoption, unrelated conservatorship.
Do we have any people who are related to him that we have located that might be potential placements?
No one appropriate at this time.
Are we still looking?
We're always looking.
Okay. Are both of his parents' rights already terminated?
Yes, parents' rights are terminated as of 2021.
Both of the goals were for family. Is it possible that we would put him on some type of the search to find another type of adoptive home placement, or is that not appropriate at this time?
The primary goal is unrelated adoption, and the secondary is unrelated conservatorship. Those are our permanency goals.
I misunderstood. I'm so sorry. I heard
That's
relative.
okay.
That was my bad. My bad. Okay. Are you asking for anything in particular today from the court?
Nothing, no new orders needed at this time.
All right, pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Iverson.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Adams?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Iverson, you may call your first.
I'll call Casa.
All right.
Could you say your name for the record, please?
Benjamin Croft.
I'm sorry. I could not hear you.
Benjamin Croft.
Okay. Mr. Croft, have you had an opportunity to visit the child?
I did. Yes, ma'am.
What would you like the court to know about how he's doing?
He is very well where he's at. Very happy. Just always a bouncy young man. Just very good home.
Are his needs being met?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are his needs being met? Is there anything that he needs?
No, ma'am. Everything is good. All needs are met.
And this placement is intended to be long-term?
Yes, ma'am.
And he's very bonded with this placement?
Very.
Witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Adams.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Croft. Great to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else from anyone else? Mr. Croft, do you know whether the child is visiting with any family?
I think from what I understand, just phone calls.
Okay, and would that be with the paternal grandmother?
That's correct.
Okay, and as far as you know, are those going well, continue to be in the child's best interest?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anything else from anyone else? All right, thank you all very much. I'm so glad, so thankful to hear how well he is doing and of the bond with the
Hello? Can you hear me?
Who is this?
This is Tracy. I had to phone in. I was requesting to be put into the room with my lawyer, Lori Moore.
Okay. All right. Stand by. I will do that shortly. I'm right in the middle of another hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No, thank you. All right. So on the PAC matter, again, the department has continued as the permanent managing conservator. The court makes all the requisite findings in regards to the placement, continues the placement. Thank you, everybody, for your very long, hard, and good work in this case. Our next hearing is hereby set for October the 28th, 2024. Okay, thank you.
The same, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And let me ask, just based on the chat, Ms. Edwards, Justice Edwards, you're wanting to be placed in a breakout room with your attorney?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was taking a quick break real quick using the restroom.
Who is your
yes, sir.
who is your attorney?
My attorney is Miss Wheeler.
Okay. Well, Ms. Moore is standing in for Ms. Wheeler today, and Ms. Moore is in a breakout room. Okay, so continue to stand by and be patient. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Alexander, Passion Alexander, your attorney is having some technical issues logging on this morning, which I'm sure you heard. What you wanted to say earlier, does it have anything to do with the possibility of resetting this case to May the 8th?
No, I was just trying to figure out what was I supposed to be doing because I haven't heard from her at all.
Okay, just stand by for now, okay? Stand by for now.
Okay.
Or are you available on, if I reset this case, are you available on May the 8th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. SD and MD for permanency review before final order. Is the mother, Kara Moffett, present? Kara Moffett?
I'm here.
Thank you very much. And what about Josh Taylor? Josh Taylor, Josh Taylor, Josh Taylor. If you're on the phone, sir, press *6, unmute Josh Taylor. Otherwise, unmute your device. All right, no one, no answer. No one is presently in the waiting room. Now, finally, Matthew Grisby. Matthew Grisby, Matthew Grisby, Matthew Grisby. All right, unmute your device, announce your appearance. If you're on the phone, press *6. Unmute, announce your appearance. Matthew Grisby, no answer, no one's in the waiting room. Ms. Moffett, let me get you and everyone else who may testify. If you'll raise your right hand this time. Ms. Adams, you may call your first.
Yes, Your Honor. To update the court and everyone, we have Mr. Taylor has been served. He was in jail for a minute and he has been served. In regards to Mr. Grigsby, you signed a service by publication and it has been served.
I got court.
Just a moment. Let me mute that device, please. I'm sorry, Ms. Adams. So I signed an order for subservice of Mr. Grisby
but it didn't, we didn't have it specifying which newspaper, and the clerk's office needs it to do that. So we're going to ask you to sign a first amended today
right.
as to the Vindicator, if that is okay with everyone.
No objection.
And that should finish the service
No
up on all the parties.
All right, the court will sign that amended order.
Judge, if I may.
Yes.
Are we aware if Mr. Grisby is living in Liberty County?
No.
And then my only argument would be we're not certain if he will receive service, even if it's with the Vindicator, but that's my only argument, Judge.
Okay. All right. Well, so notwithstanding that, that's not the exact standard. So I'm going to approve that publication. And again, I'll sign that order, but thank you, Mr. Kirkwood. Yes. So anything else, Ms. Adams?
Yes. So one more housekeeping matter. We are going to be filing a supplemental petition to change one of the names of the father. So when anyone receives that, I just want them to know I believe we're taking a middle name out of one of the fathers based on something that some information that Costa was able to give us. So I just didn't want everyone to receive something new after court, but we're taking care of that today.
All right. Very good.
And now I would like to call Destiny Brown.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Brown, how many children are in this case?
2.
And what are their ages?
2 and 4.
And where are they placed?
They are placed in a fictive kin home.
How are they doing in that placement?
They are doing well. They're thriving. When they first went into the home, Maddie was not potty trained. She wasn't talking as well. She's talking. She's potty trained. She's very eager to learn.
Wait just a second. I love the information. Please continue with it, but don't use the kid's name since we're on Zoom.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead. That's all right.
The girl, she's very eager to learn. She's now trying to read books. She will look at a page and she'll just ramble off with a story of her own. The little boy, he's doing well. He is trying to learn how to say a few words now. He's gained weight. He's looked like a little man now. He just got his hair cut. Both kids are up to date on medical and dental. The little girl, she does not, they got her tested and everything. She is not needing speech therapy. They are looking at the little boy because he is, he went to the dentist and they said he has a severe overbite. And so they're keeping an eye on that because they said that could cause issues with eating and might have an issue with his talking, also his delay in speech. So they're keeping an eye on that. And they're also going to do a few testing such as hearing to see if it's a hearing issue that's causing his speech delay. But besides that, they're both doing well. Caregivers on top of all appointments.
Neither child's on psychotropic medication, correct? Yeah. Little young for that. Wouldn't you agree? All right. In regards to the parents, have you been in contact with mom?
Yes.
And does she have a service plan?
Yes, she does.
Has it been made an order of the court?
Yes.
And has she been working it?
Yes.
Is she in compliance?
Yes.
All right. What is the permanency goal for these children?
The permanency goal is relative conservatorship as primary and family reunification as concurrent.
In regards to the fathers, have you been in contact with any of the fathers? Either of the fathers?
No.
Were you able to see if Mr. Taylor was in jail?
Yes.
And were you able to locate him in jail?
No, we had help from CASA.
Okay. Did you get to go see him while he was in jail?
No, I did not.
And is he there now?
No.
Have you had any communication with Mr. Grisby at all?
No.
And have you asked the mother if she knows where either father is?
Yes.
And has she been she given you any information that would assist you?
No, it wasn't any assistance.
Are you asking the department remain the temporary managing conservator?
Yes.
And is that in the best interest of both of these kids?
Yes.
We have a trial set on July 22 of 2024. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Is there anything that we need between now and then in regards to this case?
No.
Pass witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Moore.
Ms. Brown, as to the goal, does the department have plans to change it to the primary goal being family reunification?
At this time, no.
Is the department open to that?
Due to a recommendation, we cannot be open to that at this time.
So you said that she is in compliance with her service plan. Can you tell me what is needed on the service plan?
She is going to be continuing trauma therapy and individual therapy, and she's doing her psychological.
She has done or she needs to do?
She needs to do.
Okay. Has that already been set up?
It will be sent off this evening to the provider.
Okay. So how long has she had the service plan?
Since the beginning of the case.
Which was when? I'm not on this case, so I'm just trying to get some information.
Since around July of 2023.
Okay. So since July, she's had the service plan?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason why the psychological hasn't been set up until now?
She was wanting to go through her own provider, because she wanted to continue the services after the CPS case. And the provider that she went to, which is Legacy, the evaluation that she had was it wasn't sufficient enough. So she requested that she do Dr. Stadler.
Okay. So when did she get that evaluation done?
Just a couple months ago.
So it's been a couple of months that you've known that she's needed to get a new evaluation?
No, she just requested the new evaluation last month through Dr. Stadler.
Okay. So when last month?
April. It was when we had our permanency conference. I don't have that date on hand.
Was it the beginning of April, the middle of April, the end of April?
It was around the middle of April.
Okay. So why is it just now in May being requested to get done?
I had to get the information from Dr. Stadler to see if she will be available, because she goes on vacation a lot. And so then once I received that, I sent the 2054 in, and once it's approved, I will be sending it off.
Okay, so the 2054 has been sent in.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I was under the impression it hadn't. All right. So at this point, you're just waiting for approval from
upper management.
Okay. And when do you anticipate that coming? Is there like an average amount of time?
That's why I said I'll be sending it to Dr. Stadler this evening.
So has upper management already approved it?
She will have it approved by the end of today.
Okay. Anything else on the service plan that she needs to complete?
Well, she'll have to complete her individual counseling, which she is still doing through them, and then the trauma therapy through Behavioral Solutions, and continue to do her drug testing, continue to have safe and stable living, which she did clean her home, which was a major concern. She did fix the locks on her doors, which was a reason we came into this case with the child. And keep employment to have safe and stable income. Stable income.
Okay. Is she employed now?
Yes.
Okay. So the home was a major issue. And at this point, is the home satisfactory to the department?
It has not been staffed with my upper management yet. But
okay. Have you seen the home since she cleaned it?
Yes.
Did you see any safety concerns?
Besides the back door, it has been fixed from the beginning, but it still needs some fixing on it.
What does it need?
Really just a new door in general.
Did you tell her that?
I have not told her that yet because
what?
because I have to finish staffing with my supervisor about the rest of the safety of the home. We haven't had our staffing yet.
But the only concern that you had for safety is the back door.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the problem with the back door that makes it a safety concern?
The back door is kind of patched together. It's not really a door. It's like a door and some wood kind of put together.
Okay, but does it block out the outside heat or cold or rain?
It did have some cracks along the edges.
Along the frame, like the outside?
Yeah.
How big were the cracks?
I'll say about 1.5 inches, maybe.
1.5 inches? So like if you were to
Like
1.5 inches is a decent sized gap.
That's what I'm trying to think. Maybe about 1/2 inch along the bottom part.
Okay, so about 1/2 inch opening along the bottom. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, but none on the sides or up top.
No.
Okay. What's the concern about 1/2 inch, a small gap in the bottom of the door?
As far as like you said, like the heat and things coming in. Oh, and then also the air condition was in. I forgot to mention that earlier. In the kids' room, she has fans in there.
Wait, hold on. Before we go to the air conditioning, can we finish the door just so I don't have to flip back and forth?
Okay.
So what's the concern about the door? The door is stopping air. It's stopping rain. It's just a small gap at the bottom. So how is that a safety concern for the children?
Because it could bring like bugs and stuff could come in from the.
It could, but there's not bugs in the home.
No.
And how long has the door been like that?
That I do not know how long.
Well, when was the last time you saw the home before it was cleaned, right?
No, I did not enter in the home due to the safety hazards at the beginning of the case.
So the first time that you saw it was the last time that you saw it?
No, I went in the home and I didn't go past the living room.
Okay, but you saw the last time you were there, you saw the back door.
Yes, this last time.
Okay, when was that?
This was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So if your concern is about the potential for bugs, isn't there a potential that the kids will come in contact with bugs outside playing in the yard?
That was one of the issues when we came in the case.
Objection,
also,
non-responsive.
Sustained.
Can't the kids come in contact with bugs playing in the yard?
Yes, that's outside.
And they could outside at a playground or at school, right?
Yes.
And furthermore, the mother could even just put some towels or something and block off that 1/2 inch to keep the bugs out, right?
That's possible.
If she were to do that, would that satisfy the department?
Yes, if it helps from causing infestation in the house again.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm just taking some notes. Okay. And then you said there was a problem with the AC?
Yes. So
all right, tell me about that.
So mom has a fan in the little girl's room and a fan in the little boy's room. She said that her air conditioner, it blows heat. And she said it was something that she has to get checked out. But of course, with money, she said it will take a little while for her to be able to get it checked out. So with that not working, that was a concern. But she said that, she can get the units and stuff put in. So we would just like to see the play out for that.
And have you gotten pay stubs from the mother?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and you're aware she's an indigent client here, an indigent parent in this case, right?
Yes.
Okay, would you agree that it would be difficult for her to go and purchase we're talking about window units? Or is it a whole central AC?
No. She has a central AC, but that's what's blowing the heat. So window units would be fine. She has one in the living room and one in the kitchen area.
Okay, and you understand that could be difficult for her to afford, right?
Yes.
Okay, is that something that you can take to a board or take to the department and see if you can get her some help getting those window units?
Yeah, it's community resources that can be reached out to.
But will you reach out to them?
If I find some, yes, but I can talk with CASA because they know more of community resources.
If you find some, will you look into them?
Yes.
Okay, and will you email Miss Courtney whenever you have an answer on that?
Yes.
And when can I tell her to expect your email?
Probably within the next week.
Okay. And then any other safety concerns?
At this time, from my observation, that's it.
Okay. Now talk to me about the visits. How often is she getting visits?
Once a month
Okay. And how long are those visits?
for 2 hours.
Why are they only once per month?
That is under court order
Okay. When was that ordered?
at our last hearing.
All right. How far away does she live from the office?
About 6 minutes.
How far away are the kids placed from the office?
About 15 minutes.
Do you believe that it would be in the kids' best interest to have more frequent visitation with their mother?
Since the progress, yes.
Okay. And how often do you believe would be appropriate?
We can go back to our bi-weekly for now.
Okay. Well, how long has she been doing monthly?
She has been doing monthly the past 3 months.
Okay. Would you agree with me that because there has been only one visit a month with these two young kids for the last 3 months, that it would probably at this point be best for them if they could have at least a weekly visit with their mom to start to rebuild that relationship that's been lost?
It was more concern.
Objection, non-responsive.
Overruled. You may answer.
It was more concern with the consistency and the emotional trauma that was putting on the oldest child. The reason.
Okay, but that was back then, right?
That, yes, and that's why I stated I would like to do bi-weekly now to slowly move back into weekly.
Well, you realize that there's a trial coming up in 2 months.
I do.
So, I mean, how many weeks are you saying that you want to do bi-weekly?
That's something that my upper management will have to answer.
Okay. Would you agree with me that if the mother is showing up for her visits and she's being consistent on a weekly basis, that it would be in the children's best interest to have that weekly contact?
Yes, but I cannot make that call.
Okay, that's all right. What on her service plan has she completed?
She did her substance abuse assessment and her classes. She did an inpatient program for 30 days. And within her individual, they are going to work with her with the parenting. She is submitting to all drug tests.
What about, did she do BIP or something? Was that required?
She did her BIP evaluation, and they just wanted her to take the victimization class.
Did she do that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know that you've mentioned several times her needing to continue her trauma and individual therapy. Now you're saying that they're adding the parenting into that. Do you know how many sessions that they've had?
When I talked to her provider, she didn't really say how many sessions. She just said they are incorporated.
Okay, well, hold on. I don't want you to give me the hearsay of anything else. Do you know how many are scheduled or how many are being required?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gott.
I don't have any questions, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kirkwood.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Trousdale.
Yes, Judge, thank you. With regards to mom's service plan, would you agree with me that that was filed with the court and provided to all of the attorneys on September 13th? 23.
I don't know the exact date.
Okay. Do you recall signing that family plan of service?
Yes. I signed it after Mom.
Did you actually sit down and go over the family plan of service with Kara Moffett?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did she acknowledge an understanding of that service plan?
Yes.
And I just want to go through it briefly. What was required of her? What was the department asking of her on this service plan? What was laid out that this is what you need to do, Ms. Moffett?
It was that she completed a substance abuse assessment, follow all recommendations. She complete parenting. She complete a psychological evaluation, follow all recommendations, complete a BIP evaluation and follow the recommendations, and that she have safe, stable housing, and that she have stable income.
Okay.
That's when it goes through and random drug testing, correct?
Yes, and random drug testing.
Now then, with regards to the drug and alcohol assessment, did she complete that?
Yes.
And the recommendation from that, did she follow all the recommendations?
Yes. She stopped and went to inpatient rehab, but then she came back and completed the recommendations.
Okay. Is there any other classes that she's supposed to be doing or any services that she's supposed to be doing that has been recommended as a result or that the department is asking her to do as a result of that drug and alcohol assessment?
No.
Okay. Is she supposed to be attending or expected to attend AA meetings?
Yes.
As ongoing? Okay. Is she doing that to the best of your knowledge?
I know that she had, when I went to see the home, she told me that she had attended one class and that she was looking for a sponsor.
Okay. Has she given you any proof of her attendance at those classes?
I don't have any proof.
Did she tell you where she was attending the AA classes?
She didn't give me the exact location. She just said it was in the area.
Okay. And when was that you had that discussion with her?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Did she complete the BIP evaluation?
Yes, she completed that.
And did the department, as a result of that evaluation, any recommendations made? Did the department request she do any services? Is that the trauma therapy?
Yes, the trauma therapy, and she had to do the victimization.
Okay. And you said she's currently engaged in trauma therapy?
Yes.
And when did she start that?
I don't know the exact day she started, but I do know that she has more classes to go to because they said it's best for her to keep going. And she agreed and said that she wanted to keep going.
How often does she go to trauma therapy?
That I do not know. I believe it's weekly.
And do you know how many classes she's attended so far?
No.
Okay. You're not sure when it started, you said?
Mm-mm.
Do you know when she did the BIP eval?
It was around the middle of the case. I don't have the exact dates in front of me.
Ms. Trousdale?
Yes, sir.
Please excuse the interruption. I believe we have Ms. Tanner now. And what I'd like to try to do is place Ms. Tanner and Ashton Alexander in a breakout room. Ms. Tanner, are you there? Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, very good. I'm going to place you and your client, Ashton Alexander, in a breakout room, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Stand by, please. Stand by, Ms. Alexander. My apologies. You may continue.
Okay, thanks, Judge. Okay, sorry. The trauma therapy, you said you're not sure when it started. You don't know how many classes she's done. You just know she's supposed to do more.
Yes, I don't have any dates right off the top of my head. I have to go through notes.
Okay. Is it fair to say that there was a delay in her starting, not because of going to rehab or anything, but there was a delay in her starting her service plan?
Yes.
That wasn't started right away, correct?
No.
And that wasn't because of any delays on the part of the department?
No.
She's been submitting to drug tests, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And without going into any results of those, does the department have any concerns about any ongoing illegal drug use?
No.
And is Ms. Moffett currently taking any medications?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And do you know how many medications she is taking at this time?
I don't know the exact number, but it's quite a few, but it has decreased since the beginning.
Okay. And do you know why she's taking each medication?
Yes, she has provided documentation.
And is that documentation from her physicians or just her own notes?
No, it's from her physicians.
Okay. Now, as of March of this year, March 25th, the best of your knowledge, is mom taking more than 10 different medications? 12 to be exact.
Let's see. I wouldn't say it was more as of March, probably right at 10 or a little below, but not more than 10.
Okay. And you said that's less than the amount of medication she was taking at the beginning of the case?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as you said, and I'm sorry I missed this, I know Ms. Moore asked you, is she engaged in parenting classes?
Her provider stated that she was incorporated into her individual.
Do you know why that's just now happening?
It's just not happening because she just started with Legacy a couple months ago.
Okay. So we're 10 months into this case, and mom, although she's compliant, she's still very delayed and late in getting things done.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, with regards to the concerns of the home, you said you were concerned with the door and cracks in the door. When did you say it's about 2 weeks ago that you visited the home?
Yes.
Okay. And you walked all through the home?
Yes.
Okay. Now, has there been a concern with bug infestation in her home throughout this case until recently?
Yes, it has.
Okay. And in fact, bugs have been getting in the children's belongings that she's bringing to the visits in the past, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that why you're so concerned about something that Ms. Moore calls very little, which is this crack beneath the door?
Yes.
Are you expecting mom to do everything that she can to prevent bugs getting in the home and the home becoming infested with them again?
Yes.
Okay. Now the visits are once a month, and you said that's court ordered.
Yes.
Now in the past, mom has had weekly visits. Is that correct, or was it biweekly?
It was weekly, then changed to biweekly.
Okay. And did the department ask that the visits go back to once a month because mom was actually only making less than 30% of her visits when they were biweekly or weekly?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think it's in the children's best interest to give mom another chance to show, since she's been making improvements, to show that she can actually make these visits and make them a priority, and also give these children a chance to spend time with their mom?
Yes.
Okay. What does the department want to see with the visits? You want them to increase to, you said biweekly?
Yes, just a stair step back into weekly.
Okay. And where the children are placed right now, is that a relative?
Fictive.
Yes. And are they willing to keep these children long term?
They are.
Okay. And are they in the process of completing the PCA
Yes.
program?
Yes, the licensing program.
Thank you. Yes. Do you feel that it would be in the best interest of the children for the placement to finish that licensing program?
Yes, it would benefit the kids.
And at this time, does the department feel it would be in the children's best interest if the children remain in that placement?
At this time.
With regards to SD, I believe it's been reported the children are doing well. There's some concern about delay with him, with his speech. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any additional resources that can be provided to that child or the placement to make sure that his needs are met?
Following up with the appointments, and then he is also receiving ECI services.
To the best of your knowledge, does that placement have everything they need to provide for both of these children?
Yes.
And do you have any concerns with the placement or how the children are doing in that placement at this time?
No.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Ms. Adams.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, quickly.
She is on medication for heart failure, pain management, and mental illness. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And she's compliant with the medications that she's on, right?
Yes.
And you have seen those medications work effectively for her, right?
Yes.
And in fact, at the last permanency conference that everyone was at, the department was rather impressed with the progress that she has made and how well she is doing right now. Is that correct?
At the last hearing?
No, at the last conference, permanency conference.
Okay, yeah, yes.
Okay. So while it's true that she did get a late start in this case, that doesn't mean for her that it's not possible for her to get her children back, does it?
If we get the recommendations from therapists, then yes.
Okay. Right now, it's not impossible for her to get her children back, is it?
It's not impossible.
So it would be in her best interest to continue to do her services, right?
Yes.
Because it's never too late to keep trying for your children, right?
That's correct.
And anything could happen between now and July, which could change the direction that this case is going. And maybe at some point there's enough progress where she could ask for a monitored return, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll pass wins.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Brown from anyone? Okay, Ms. Adams, you may call your next, if any.
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Moore?
I'd like to call Ms. Moffett.
All right, Ms. Moffett, you were sworn in, yes?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
Okay, Ms. Moffett, you heard Ms. Brown mention that you had done one NA class. Can you give us an update on your classes?
My therapist thought it would be best for me to attend virtual NA meetings, and I have been doing that. And
Just a moment. Ms. Moffett, just a moment. Is there an objection?
Yes, objection here says that anything her therapist has said or recommended.
Sustained.
Okay. Have you been doing virtual or in-person AANA?
Virtual.
Okay. Are you under the impression that your therapist is in agreement with virtual?
Yes.
All right. How many have you gone to?
A total of 5.
How frequently are you going?
Once a week.
Are you documenting where you're doing them and what days you're doing them?
Yes. So at each meeting, they ask if anyone needs proof of attendance, and I have them send the proof to my email.
Okay.
I just
So
haven't
Go ahead.
printed it out yet.
You haven't been what?
I haven't printed it out yet.
Okay. So why don't you forward that every time you get that proof of attendance, why don't you forward it to Miss Wheeler?
Okay.
And that way she can get it to the department so that they can see that you're attending those. So what is the website that you use for that?
It's called virtualna.org.
Okay. Are you did you hear about the concerns with your door?
I did.
Do you have a means to get that repaired or a door replaced?
Yes, ma'am. Well, buying an entirely new door is like, I looked it up, it's like $600, but I can get a frame from a local store, Potez, for like a little under 100, and put insulated foam at the bottom of the door to fill in the cracks.
Okay. Is that something that you plan to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you appreciate if either CASA or the department were able to get in touch with maybe some community resources that could help you get some AC units for the kids' rooms?
Definitely. That would be amazing because they are expensive.
Okay. As far as your medication, you're in compliance with what the doctors have prescribed you. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been employed?
Hey, Monica, it's Carrie. Hey, did they call Brown yet? Raiden Brown yet?
Stand by, please. Let me.
Okay, I'm trying to get Ron to log in.
All right.
Okay. How long have you been employed?
Since October of last year. There was a short period where I was not employed there, which was when I was in inpatient rehab. And then as soon as I got out, I went back to work.
Okay. And how long were you in inpatient?
30 days.
Okay. As far as the visits go, well, as far as this whole case goes, you have made a lot of progress in the recent months. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the seriousness of this case and how important it is that you finish that therapy and that you finish all of the services that the department has asked for, right?
I do.
Well, hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. It is your goal in this case to have your children returned home to you. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you understand that there's a few things that need to be done in your home before you would really be in a position to ask the court for that. But once you get those things done, you would like to ask the court to do a return. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and leading up to that point, you would like to have more frequent visits with your children. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Okay, do you believe that it's in the kids' best interest that they see you as frequently and have as good a quality of visits as they can?
Yes, it seems
Okay,
like.
Hold on. Are you concerned that if the visits are bi-weekly, that bi-weekly would only give you 2 visits until we have a trial in a month?
Right. That does concern me, yes.
Okay.
I would like to see them as much as possible.
Do you believe it would be in their best interest to see you as much as possible?
I do, because I believe I've come a long way to get healthy, and they really need to see their mom healthy instead of who I was when this case began.
Okay. Are you proud of yourself for the progress that you have made?
I am.
Now, if this court orders that you can have weekly visits, do you understand that you don't have a choice? You have to go to those visits.
Yes, I understand that. And it wasn't that I didn't.
Well, I don't want to get into the old stuff, honestly, because you know what? Who you were before, we can all see is not who you are now. So we're going to focus on who you are now and going forward. Okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So at this point, you understand that you need to attend each of those visits, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you provided your work schedule to Ms. Brown so that she knows when you're available for visits?
I have. I do every 2 weeks.
Perfect. Now, if for some reason you couldn't attend a visit, so maybe you're sick or something happens, you understand that you would need to let Ms. Brown know that as soon as possible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you didn't let her know and your children showed up for the visit, but you didn't show up, that would be detrimental to them?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You don't want that to happen, do you?
I don't at all.
Okay. You heard the testimony about getting a late start in this case, right?
Yes,
and we
ma'am.
don't want to focus on all the stuff from the beginning, but you do recognize that it took you a little bit of time to kind of get going, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just glad that I did instead of being stuck in where I was.
Okay. At this point, are you doing as much as you can to remedy every concern that this court or the children's attorney or CASA or the department has regarding you and the children?
I am. I'm doing the best I can.
All right. Now you've learned some coping skills in either with therapy, or is it with your doctor? Where do you learn those?
Not only with individual therapy with my therapist, but also in the substance abuse class, which I also that helped me to realize the negative impact I had on my kids to what got us here.
Okay. Are you taking responsibility for that?
Yes, ma'am, fully.
And then what coping skills have you learned?
Meditation, breathing techniques, prayer, journaling, cooking. I make jewelry. There's a lot. I get plenty of sleep. I've implemented a routine and structure and balance in my life, and trying to maintain that.
Okay. Who's your support system?
My mother, first and foremost, and her fiance, Darren, who is like a stepfather to me, and my grandparents and my little brother.
Okay. Now you heard Ms. Brown mention that you were looking for a sponsor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand the importance of having a sponsor?
I do.
Okay. And are you going to continue to try to find somebody and start working those steps?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to let the court know that we haven't covered?
Just that I'm on 6 medications, not 10. And I don't have, for the first time in my life, I don't have the desire to do drugs. I have the desire to be a better person and to be a better mom. And all I think about are my kids all day long. And that supersedes any temptation to do drugs. And I recognize that I numbed myself in the past, and that was the whole problem. I just needed to feel my feelings, not dwell on them, and move forward.
That's wonderful. I'm really proud of the progress that you made. I'm going to pass you as a witness, and other people are going to be able to ask you questions, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gott, Mr. Kirkwood, Ms. Trousdale, and then Ms. Adams, if any.
I don't have any questions, Judge.
Thank you.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Tara, when did you start the NA classes?
I attended a couple right out of rehab, but I started back to my substance abuse classes. So I waited till I finished those to start going back to NA.
Okay. So when did you start going?
Going back?
After you finished your substance abuse classes, when did you start? How long have you been going to AA?
Well, I just finished my classes last week, so this is my first week back to NA.
Okay, so you said you'd done about 5 classes. So were the other 4 classes earlier this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And were they through the same program?
The virtual NA, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're going to send that documentation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are there any concerns brought up about your home that you don't understand? Clearly you understand the issue with the door and the ACs. Is there anything that's been mentioned today that you don't understand as far as your home?
No, but I would like to say that I do plan on getting an exterminator this coming up week, and I will provide a receipt of that to Destiny, Miss Destiny.
Okay, that's fine. How many therapy sessions have you attended?
I couldn't count. I've been attending therapy with this individual therapist that I obtained through my insurance since the late last year.
Okay, so since the end of 2023? Yes,
ma'am.
And how often do you go?
It was twice a week when I first got out of rehab, but now it's just, well, I'm seeing her twice this week because she really wanted to know how this court hearing went, but usually once a week now.
Okay, so you've been seeing her 1 to 2 times a week since the end of 2023. Is that correct then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and have you been consistent in your appointments with her? Have you missed any appointments?
1 week I did miss a few, but that was because I was feeling bad. I even had to miss work that week.
Okay. Other than that week, have you been consistent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then your parenting, is that something that's being incorporated into your therapy?
Not yet. Behavioral Solutions wanted me to complete one thing at a time. They think that at the beginning of the case, when I first got my service plan, that I overloaded myself trying to complete everything at once.
Okay. So Behavioral Solutions, your understanding is they wanted you to do one thing at a time.
Correct.
And how often do you think would be best for your children, or how frequent do you believe your visits should be?
Well, I feel like I'm losing my bonds with them, and I just think as much as possible, once a week would benefit them to for us to recreate that bond. I think it's
Thank you, Kara.
important to maintain that.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Adams.
Yes, Your Honor. Ma'am, so we're at May 5th. No, sorry, May 3rd today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your trial's in July 22nd. Would you agree with me that that's 2.5 months, not 1 month?
2.5. Right.
Okay. So if the department's position is that bi-weekly visits would be good for the first month, like say the month of May, bi-weekly, meaning every 2 weeks, and then starting, if everything goes well, starting the weekly visits back up in June through July, would you be okay with that?
Yes, ma'am. That makes sense. I understand.
Perfect. Thank you. Pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Any other, back to you, Ms. Moore.
You just answered questions about being okay with bi-weekly for the month of May and then starting back up in June. You haven't had an opportunity to talk to me or Ms. Wheeler about that option, have you?
No, I have not.
Today is the first time that you've been offered that. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So you don't understand in saying that you would be okay with that, how that might affect this case as this case continues to move forward, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, if you got your preference, you would still want to start the weekly now. Is that fair?
Definitely. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think it would be fair if the court said, I'll give you weekly if you miss one visit without canceling 24 hours in advance, then you go back to biweekly?
Yes, ma'am.
Would that give you an opportunity to prove to the department and to the court that you can and will be consistent, but that way you're able to do it while also having that frequent contact to strengthen the bond with the kids?
Yes, ma'am. I hope I'm given that chance.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Moffett? All right, thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Moore?
No other witnesses, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Gott, assuming you and Mr. Kirkwood don't have any witnesses, let me know if you do. Ms. Trounsdale, you may call your first.
Yes, I'd like to call the CASA advocate.
This is Casa.
Bethany, sorry, Ms. Walker, will you state your full name, please?
Bethany Walker.
Okay, and Ms. Walker, have you been on this case since the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to visit with the children on several occasions?
Yes, ma'am.
And then, based on your observations, how are the children doing?
The children are doing great in their placement. They're bonded with both parents and the siblings in that placement that are unrelated. They're doing great medically. Their dental's up to date. They're making great progress as far as their delays that were concerning at the beginning of the case.
Okay. And with regards to the youngest, the little boy, SD, you believe that the delays that he has are being addressed by the placement and by the department?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anything that these children need that needs to be brought to the attention of the court today?
Not currently.
Okay. Now, have you had an opportunity to visit with these children or observe visits between Kara and the children?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And approximately how many visits, if you know off the top of your head, approximately how many visits have you observed between mom and the kids?
At least 3.
Okay. And have any of those been recent?
Yes. April.
Okay. What was the? Okay, in April. And how did that visit go? Did it go well?
The visit went well. There was extended family also in attendance of that visit. Mom was a little scattered, but the kids interacted well with her.
Okay.
And she
and fairness, was it? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Was it one of the children's birthdays?
Correct. It was Estes' birthday.
Okay. So this visit was maybe a little different than some of the others.
Yes.
Was mom appropriate with the children during the visit?
Yes.
Okay. And do you believe that she gave the kiddos adequate attention during the visit?
I do.
Okay. And did the children seem to respond positively to mom?
MD, the older child in the case, does. SD, there's some.
I'm going to object to her speculating as to what the child feels or thinks.
Overruled.
SD has some hesitation towards mom.
Okay.
And Ms. Walker, did you observe that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next question.
Okay. And you said there were other people in attendance. Who else was in attendance? Besides yourself?
Sure. The caseworker was there, mother was there, grandmother of the children, and great grandparents of the children.
Okay. And the family that was present, is that part of the family that mom has listed as her support, her network of support earlier in her testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And overall, do you feel that those present were appropriate? Were there any issues, any problems during the visit?
There were adult conversations that were happening that were not appropriate to be going on while the children were present.
Okay. Was there any discussion specifically about the case?
Not this case.
Okay. But you had some concerns about the other topics discussed in the presence of the children?
I do.
Okay. Other than that, was everything else okay at the visit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, have you had an opportunity to visit with mom?
I have not been at mom's home this year. I've been waiting for her to provide proof of extermination of her home, but we have spoke frequently on the phone.
Okay. And based on what you've observed with mom over the last 10 months, have you seen recent improvements in her choices, her behaviors, just overall? Do you feel that she's doing better?
I have seen improvement, yes.
Okay. And have you talked to mom about your concerns about the home?
Yes.
Okay. And would you like to go out and see the home again before trial?
Absolutely.
Have you had any trouble in the past getting access to the home when you wanted it?
Yes.
Okay. Are you asking that the judge order that you be given access to mom's home so that you can walk through the entire home and see it before
please.
July?
Yes.
Is there anything, do you have any concerns with regards to the progress mom is making or lack of?
I do have concerns, yes.
Okay. What's your primary concern with mom's progress?
My primary concern is she's made progress previously, so it's the history of her progress and the regression of it.
Okay. So based on your experience, let me ask you, how long have you known mom?
Since the beginning of the case.
Okay. And you're familiar with her history leading up to this case, correct?
Correct.
And you're aware that mom has been sober for 4 or 5 months before, correct?
Correct.
So is your concern that she will return to the lifestyle?
I object to leading at this point.
Overruled.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Is your concern that mom will return to the life choices she was making in the past?
Yes, based off of conversations with mom.
Okay. Would you agree with me that there's a pattern in the last 10 years with her?
I'm going to object to hearsay as to the last 10 years. She's only known my client since this case started.
Sustained.
Judge. Okay.
Unless this is something that Ms. Walker and Ms. Moffett have talked about explicitly.
Not explicitly.
Okay. Have you talked to mom about her drug use?
Yes.
Have you talked to her about her medications?
Yes.
And you're aware that she does actually have some health issues?
Yes, ma'am.
And those health issues, her heart, and I apologize, I can't remember the diagnosis, but her heart issue in particular, she may remain on multiple medications for the rest of her life.
Yes.
Okay. And have you asked her for a copy of the medications or to give you a list of her medications or anything like that?
Yes.
Has she provided that to you?
Not to me.
Okay. Have you received a list of her medications?
I have reviewed a list of her medications at the CPS office.
Okay. And I'm not asking what anything said, but what documents did you review?
Therapy notes and notes from her cardiologist.
Okay. You've heard mom express her desire to see these kids more often. You've heard the department say that, acknowledge that she's made progress, and that they would entertain the idea of her having more visits. What is CASA's position on that? Do you think it would be in these children's best interest for mom to start having more frequent visits again?
Based off of the goals of the case, I would like to see the visits stay as they are.
Okay. Based on your observations, based on your review of the CPS documents, your conversations with mom, your conversations with placement, what do you think would be in the best interest of these children?
Long-term or currently?
Long-term.
Long-term, I think the best interest of the children is for them to stay at the placement they are currently at.
Okay. And do you believe it'd be in their best interest to maintain a relationship with mom if she continues making progress and she's consistent for a period of time?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Walker, do you know how close the placement is to licensure?
Very close. Within the next month, they should be licensed.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Adams?
No questions.
Thank you. Ms. Moore?
Yes. You said that you saw 3 visits with the mom. The most recent one was in April. When were the other 2?
I would have to refer back to my notes.
Do you have them with you?
Not currently.
Okay. Were either of those 2 in April last month?
There was one parent visit in April, and I attended that.
Okay. Is that the one that you said was April?
Yes.
Okay. So the other 2, can you tell me, were they before mom kind of kicked it up and started making progress?
One was in February. It was the first visit she had.
Okay. And the other one was?
And at that, it was.
I'm sorry, I did not hear anything that you said.
It was before December.
Okay. And so before December, she wasn't being as consistent with her visits, right?
Correct. And even in February, she was 30 minutes late.
Responsive.
Sustained.
All right. When you observed the visit before December, would you agree with me that SD wasn't hesitant then like he is now?
No, I would not agree.
Okay. You talked about adult conversations. Who was having adult conversations that were inappropriate?
The grandmother.
With who?
With the caseworker.
Okay. So it wasn't that Miss Moffett was involved in that, was it?
Miss Moffett could have asked her to stop the conversation.
Okay. Well, you were observing the visit. You also could have stepped in, and you also could have said, I don't think this is appropriate. Did you do that?
I did not.
And the caseworker is the one who's actually observing the visit, and it's their responsibility to, if anything is improper, to stop that from happening, right?
I'm unsure.
Okay, but if the department didn't have a problem discussing it in front of the kids, then don't you think that either the kids were preoccupied somewhere else, or they were talking soft enough the department worker didn't think that the kids could hear, or maybe to the department that conversation wasn't inappropriate?
I don't know what the department thought.
Okay. You said you're waiting for proof of extermination before visiting the home.
Correct.
Is that your decision, or did the mom ask you to do that?
The mom agreed to provide me proof before I came into the home.
Okay. Has that stopped you from visiting the home up until now? Has she denied you access?
Yes.
When did you try to visit?
I visited in August. I attempted to visit in November and December.
Okay, so in November and December, she what?
One of the instances, she did not come to the door, and the other, she came to the door but did not allow me in.
Okay, and would you say that was before she kind of kicked it in gear and started making progress?
She had completed some services at that point.
Okay, but she hadn't made the same progress that she's made at this point, has she? Had she?
She's had more time to complete progress, so no.
Okay, would you say that how she's functioning now is different than how she was in November and December?
Correct.
Okay, so if you were to go now, it's possible that you might get a different response, right?
Yes.
Okay, and have you asked her or have you tried to go to a visit since December?
I have asked her to provide proof of the extermination before entering the home.
Okay, did she tell you, I don't want you to come to my house until I give you proof of extermination?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it's just that you personally don't want to go until you have proof of extermination.
I suppose.
Okay.
Ms. Moore, just a moment. Ms. Moffett, unmute your device. Please tell me, are you amenable to Ms. Walker visiting your home once that extermination is done? The guardian ad litem.
I have never been against anyone entering
I didn't ask you about that. Are you amenable to her visiting your home once the extermination has been done? Yes or no?
What does amenable mean?
Are you willing to let her come in your home?
Of course, definitely.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You may go back to mute. Thank you. Okay. Let's move on. I'm going to give you all just a couple of more minutes.
The convos that you've had with the mother about her returning to the past, the convos that you had with her that made you have a concern that she may return to past behavior, do you recall the dates on which those conversations were had?
The last conversation I had that was concerning was April 11th.
Okay. Did you take notes when you had those contacts?
Yes.
And can you provide those notes to her attorney, Ms. Wheeler, so that she can discuss that with you and with Ms. Moffett?
Sure.
Do you have Ms. Wheeler's email address?
I do.
Okay. Did you put any of those concerns in any reports that you filed with the court?
Yes.
Okay. All of the concerns, or are there some that aren't in the report?
I would have to review the report compared to my notes.
Okay.
Just two more questions, Ms. Moore.
How is it helpful for the children, or helpful with any hesitancy that one child might have, for the visits to continue to be on a monthly basis?
How is it helpful?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer for that.
You said that long-term, you believe it's best if they stay in the placement and then maintain a relationship with the mother as long as she's on the right track. When did you make that decision?
That's my current opinion based on the facts before me.
Okay, when did you develop that opinion?
Ms. Moore, we're going to need to stop there. Ms. Trousdale, did you happen to have any more witnesses?
No, Judge, I don't know if placement's here, but she would just testify she's willing to keep these kids long-term. That's it. So no, sir.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Moffett, you have made considerable progress in this case. And you have quite a ways to go, let alone the importance, the necessity of you demonstrating that you've made the changes you need to make, and you've made them permanent, and that you've acquired any knowledge or skills that you needed to based on the concerns of this case. So the court does find that you are presently compliant with your services. Remember that the law requires me to admonish you that if at the end of this case, if you are not willing and able to provide a safe environment for your children, your parental rights may be further restricted or even terminated permanently. Now, inasmuch as I am very proud of your progress, and I certainly think that you should be too, you are taking much better care of your children's mother than you have previously, and more than anything, we need that to continue. I am going to, based on the evidence and the best interest of the children, and I would note that I note CASA's recommendation. I am going to, however, increase the mother's visits with the children, increase the children's visits with their mother, to two times a month for 2 hours each. Now, in essence, that doubles the frequency and the time with the children. Now, if you happen to, I'm going to require you to give 24-hour notice. If you do not give 24-hour notice, or if you miss even one visit for which you don't give notice, or if you missed one visit and it's an unexcused absence, as it were, in the view of the department, then we're going to go back to once a month for 2 hours. All right. If after 1 month's visits for every other week, 2 hours, if those go well, and if there is an agreement to increase those to weekly or the like, the parties may do that. I'm not going to order that at this time, but the court would approve of that if there is an agreement to increase the visits after 1 month's time of 2 hour visits supervised every other month, again, with the notice requirement and the attendance requirement. The court hereby orders you all to mediate this case before trial. Again, trial is July the 22nd at 1:30. Our dismissal date is July the 29th, 2024. The court finds that neither father is present or compliant, that there would be, moreover, a continuing danger, and it would be contrary to the children's welfare, well-being, to be returned to a parent today. All right. So anything else from anyone else? Mom, keep up the good work. Ms. Adams?
Yes, just a couple more housekeepings. The number one, Mr. Moffett, I believe, has been DNA tested as not the father. I don't know that we have an order that makes him unadjudicates him as the father, but I'm going to ask that the court sign an order for that and an order to dismiss him. And I wanted to see if anybody had a problem with that.
Okay. And was that DNA related to both children or just one of the children?
Both.
Both.
Because he
Right.
is married to Miss Moffett.
I see that now. Yes. So the court will sign that.
Okay. And one more thing, I know that there's a grandparent visit that was the last 30 minutes, but that was once a month. What do you want to do with that?
Ms. Trousdale, let me get your quick input on that, and then Casa.
Judge, I'm so sorry. What did Ms. Adams just say? The very last thing that you just said, Ms.
Well,
Adams.
I think heretofore, I allowed if not ordered, the grandmother to take part in the last 30 minutes of the mother's visits.
Oh, yes, sir. Am I okay with that?
Yes. Are you okay with me leaving it as it is, or increasing it as I've done with the mother's visits?
I think right now, just leaving it. I wasn't at that visit, the last visit, Judge. And Mom, and my understanding is she's a support for Mom, so I'd want her still involved, but I would like to just see it to remain where it is, to give Mom as much time by herself with the kids. I think that'd be best.
Yeah, and that will give the mother an opportunity to demonstrate.
Yes.
So then, very good question, though. Ms. Adams will keep the grandmothers as they have been. So only the mothers increase. Again, 24-hour notice, no unexcused absences, or they revert to once a month for 2 hours, supervised. Okay, so Mom, take care, keep up the good work, demonstrate.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much. You are excused. I'll continue TMC in the placement, and I'll sign orders to that effect. Okay, Ms. Adams and Mr. Hipp, we're going to take a kind of a long break, a very, very, very short lunch, since we're fortunate to have two of you. So hopefully nobody will be really shorted. But what I would like to do before we break is and let me close out the breakout rooms.
Your Honor.
All right, stand by. All right, let me hear maybe from the jailer.
Yes, this is Lieutenant Alford over Chambers County Jail. Just a quick question. Do we know if her case is going to go forward today? She's housed at an off-site facility.
She has what? I'm sorry.
Housed at an off-site facility. We have two facilities. So I just wondered, do we need to keep her here for?
Okay. For just for the moment, we're going to get to that here very shortly, but I thank you for that. So let me make sure the breakout rooms are closed and everyone is back in. Okay, so let's the court will note that the parents are respondent parents are both present. I believe that I have received a text from that this case is going to be contested. Is that correct, Ms. Tanner?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. So Ms. Trousdale and Mr. Hipp, is this will this be yours? Will this be yours if I reset it to say May the 8th?
It will be mine.
All right. So Ms. Tanner, Mr. Gott, and Ms. Trousdale, May the 8th, and that will be at the JP number 1 off of Coss Street.
I can do that, Judge. I think I already have something on that docket.
I do believe. And Ms. Tanner and Mr. Gott and Ms.
Yes, Your Honor. Will I be able to appear virtually, or will I need to be in person?
We will.
Okay.
That is approved.
Okay. And if my client is, if my client could just know to, I'll probably have to tell her where the JP court is, because that's not a common. Yeah.
Right. Very good. Okay. And Mr. Gott, did you get that as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. All right. Okay. And are you amenable to that, Mr. Hipp?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Very good. All right. So that will take care of the number 1 case, and let's go quickly. So you all are excused, Ms. Alexander, Mr. Jordan, Ms. Dugat. You all are excused until May the 8th at 9 a.m. That will be in person, JP number 1 off of Coss, Department of Family and Protective Services versus Ms. Palmer and Mr. Sapp. I believe they're both present. Let me take announcements. Is everyone still ready?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Judge. I don't know if my client did speak to me beforehand, but I'm present and ready.
Okay, let me see if Mr. Sapp, Devon Sapp, are you still here, sir?
Devin Sapp.
Devin Sapp. Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Devin Sapp. He was logged on earlier. If you're on the phone, sir, Devin Sapp, press *6. *6 to unmute. Otherwise, unmute your device, announce your appearance. Okay, Ms. Tanner, are you ready?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, let's hear where we are. Let me get everyone who may testify, Mom and everyone else who might testify. Raise your right hands. Okay, Mr. Hipp, you may call your first.
Caseworker, state your name, please.
Amanda Lovelady.
And are these parents engaged in services?
Dad is semi-engaged in services, so that question will be yes. Mom is currently incarcerated, so that question will be no.
Has she done anything?
Yes, she has successfully completed a substance abuse assessment. And she was engaging, like she did go to 1 class, but then the next day she got arrested.
1 class of what?
The substance abuse counseling.
Okay. And what's Dad doing?
Dad is engaging in substance abuse counseling as well, outpatient right now. He went to 2 classes, and then he recently he missed the class, and then he recently canceled on a class.
Okay. Where are the kids?
The kids are with paternal grandmother.
And are they there in a PCSP?
No, they were just placed there during the investigation stage.
Okay. And you need are you asking this court for an order placing the kids there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Why do you need that?
So I'm asking if we could court order the placement with the children remaining in the care of the grandparent. We had originally wanted to close the case with the voluntary case closure with the parents going into inpatient.
And so the grandmother is in agreement to keeping the children. She doesn't mind keeping the children, but she didn't want the responsibility of saying that the children will go back home, well, when they will be allowed to go back home without the parents actually completing some type of service.
Okay. Now, it looks like to me this case has some time left on it till November 1st, I believe. Do you think that's enough time for the parents to complete the services that they need?
I do. If they actually complete them, I do.
Okay. And I'll talk to Mom in a minute, but I'll pass the witness right now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gott.
No questions right now, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkwood.
Other than the concerns you just mentioned, is there anything else that the father should be doing currently that he is not doing?
He should be taking random UAs as well, and then him and mother are supposed to engage in family counseling. But mother did actually set up that family counseling, but when she left the facility that they were going through, they had to discharge them because mother wasn't there.
That's witness.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Lovelady, did the father, I believe last time we were in court, he made overtures, if not promises, to go into inpatient, if I recall. Did that not happen?
So mother did actually go into an inpatient for 2 days, and then on that third day, she left. And when she came back, she went ahead and set herself up for services for outpatient.
What about the father?
Father, no, sir. I actually gave him resources as well. I attempted to help him, and he hung the phone up while I was in the process of trying a three-way call with him and the inpatient provider.
Okay, and that Ms. Gallo is his mother, and she's the one whom the mother placed the children with.
That is correct. And Ms. Gallo feels that
But we'll get to that. We'll get
Okay.
to that, if at all. Thank you, Ms. Tanner.
Yes, ma'am. How many random UAs or drug tests has the father taken?
Father has taken he took 5. 2 of them in investigation stage, and then 3 of them with myself. His last one that he did attempt to go on, he refused that one. So I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but according to the notes, he refused to take the test.
Okay. When was the last actually completed test taken?
It was 3/21, and it was for he was positive for marijuana only.
Okay. So he has not taken a drug test since March 21st.
That's well, he attempted to take one on March 29th, but he refused. But yes, ma'am.
Okay. And does that concern you?
It does concern me because I'm not sure why he refused to take it. But there is a communication barrier between myself and him. He doesn't really have a phone, and then Ms. Gallo is paying for him to have his phone on so he can do the outpatient substance abuse counseling.
Okay, so the communication barrier that you're saying occurs is because he doesn't have a phone?
That's correct.
As far as you know, he understands the English language?
Yes.
And that's the language you speak with him?
Yes.
Okay. And so how many times since March has he been called to drug test?
I have probably called Dad about 5 times, and I have also reached out to Ms. Gallo as well to let Father know that I was trying to contact him.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll pass witness.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hipp.
I have another question for the caseworker. Are you also concerned that if CPS closes its case without a court order for the visitate for the court order for the kids to be with grandma, that the parents will come try to take the kids?
Yes.
Okay, why do you think that?
I feel because there is like we would just be closing the case with a power of attorney, and that will give the opportunity.
Objection causes speculation, Judge.
I asked her why she thinks that. I mean,
overruled.
Go ahead.
You may your answer.
Okay, so I was saying I feel that the power of attorney is giving the grandmother the access to act for the children, and however the parents are able to go pick the children up if they need to go pick them up, or if they wanted to go pick them up.
What makes you think that they would do that?
I mean, mother is ready. She's ready to go get her children, but however, she did mention she wanted to work with us, but it's just that her actions is not really adding up. Like the parents' actions are not adding up with what they're saying.
Okay. Grandmom's in this hearing, correct?
Yes, Miss Gallo.
Okay, I'll talk to her. Pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Lovelady? Okay, all right. You may call your next, Mr. Hitt.
Ms. Gallo.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gallo, you were sworn?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
You have the kids now?
Yes, sir, I do.
They doing okay?
They are very spoiled, but they are doing great.
Okay, now, you believe you need a court order for the kids, for placement of the kids to be with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is your concern?
My concern is if we close the case out with a POA, that they'll go back to the court's time and CPS will be starting from step one all over again.
Okay, thank you. Are you the mother of the father or the mother?
The father, the paternal grandmother.
Okay, and is he doing well?
He could use some work.
Okay, we all could. All right, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. God.
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkwood.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner.
Ma'am, it's fair to say you love your son very much, right?
I do. I love my son, and I love the baby's mom, Noelani, as well.
I love you too.
But so, knowing what you know about both parents and based on your experiences, do you think that they are ready at this time to have their children back?
I think at this time, both of them need to just get their priorities and their self better. And then I think they need a little more time. And then I know they can do it, just not right now.
Okay, so you're not wanting to be mom and grandma all in one, right?
I want to be a Mimi, but I will hold down the fort until mom and dad both get better.
Okay. So that is your goal, and you believe that once the parents are doing better, that they should have their kids back, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And would you agree with me, based upon your relationships with both parents and you having kind of a bird's eye view of what's going on, that you have a pretty good bead on whether or not those kids would be safe with their parents?
I do, and at this point in time, it's a no.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass witness.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Mr. Hip.
I called the mother. Would you state your name, please, ma'am?
State your name. Noelani Palmer.
And why are you in jail?
I was picked up on a warrant. I was arrested for theft and possession.
Possession of what?
Meth.
Okay. How long have you been doing meth?
Just the past few years.
Okay.
But I stopped when I got pregnant with the children, and then I ended up slipping up when I had something happen with my older kids.
When did you last do meth?
The last day I've done it was January 13th.
Okay. Are you in any kind of
I was actually on the day that I was arrested this time, on my warrant, I was on my way to go take a drug test for CPS. Or like I was on my way, I was supposed to take a drug test that day. And then I had to ride, like she was supposed to come pick me up and everything for my drug test. Like I was drug testing that day.
okay. You would agree with me that meth is not an easy drug to kick, right?
It depends. It's a minor dramatic thing. It's not. It ain't the meth itself that is a problem. It's the making your issues not like making not be in your head.
Why did you go to inpatient and then leave after 2 days?
Because there was an altercation, the girl wanted to try and treat it like jail. I was doing good the first day, the second day, and the third day, a girl wanted to try. She grabbed me by my hair, and they don't do absolutely no altercations or any type of physical violence, whatever. And so me and that other girl was told to leave. I did not leave. Like, I did not choose to pack my shit up and go. I mean, my stuff up and go. I'm sorry. I'm not like it was. They told me that I had to go because of the altercation with the other girl.
That's the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gott.
As soon as I did get home, though, I did set up the family services, the single therapy for the direct therapy for me and my therapist, and group therapy for weekly. I went to the therapy, the first one. The next week was going to be family therapy on Monday. Is direct therapy on Tuesday, group therapy, group direct therapy on Wednesday. I did one, and that next day when I went to go do a CPS perk test, I was arrested for the warrant.
Okay, Ms. Palmer, stand by for, let's see if your attorney has any questions for you.
Okay.
Ma'am, do you plan on bonding out of jail anytime soon?
Right now I do not have a bond, but they are trying to. I have court on June 3rd and June 5th. I don't have a bond as of right now, but they said that the minimum amount of time that I would be doing would possibly be 6 months, or of state jail. But I'm waiting for my court date on June 3rd and June 5th. But I will be out before Christmas. Like, I will be out this year.
Once you are able to get out of jail, do you plan on continuing to do your services or whatever you need to do?
Yes, I do. I want to continue to do everything. I want my kids back.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kirkwood.
No questions.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Mr. Hip. Any other questions or witnesses?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other witnesses from anyone? All right. Actually, the new law precludes me from ordering any sort of outside of the home placement of the children.
I'm aware of that. We just wanted to make you aware of the situation.
Yes, and I get it. All of that is not lost on me. I am going to extend the 180-day temporary orders, and I'm going to set our next compliance for not just forget the November date that's on the docket there, that might be on the docket. I'm going to set this for a compliance / dismissal on October the 2nd. Sorry, August the 2nd, at 9 a.m. So I think by then, the picture of what, if anything, the parents are going to do might be a little more clear, and what, if anything else, the department needs to do. Ms. Gallo, we cannot thank you enough. You have really saved the day in this situation. Mom, Dad, do whatever it takes.
What do I do if I don't get out by that day? I'm not complying. I'm trying to comply, but what if I do not get out of jail by that day?
Well, visit with your attorney. There might be some services in the facility that you find yourself that you can work. You certainly ought to be detoxing. So just don't say anything else. Just listen to me, because I want to encourage you to continue to put your children first, to do absolutely whatever it takes to get sober and to stay in recovery. Okay. Work your services, address the pending criminal issues that you have, which is obviously what you're doing. Okay. And I know you're very grateful for everything that Ms. Gallo is doing. So we're going to come back here again, August the 2nd at 9 a.m. and we'll see where we are, what we need to do at that point. All right. So I will sign an order to that effect, and you all are excused, and we'll see you then. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. No, thank you. You all are excused. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hip, may we take about a 15-minute break / lunch?
That would be wonderful.
Okay, so when we come back, we'll see what case we need to go to next. So we will be we'll be in recess until let's say 12:30.